Hello, everyone, and welcome back after a long hiatus. The Mosher Media podcast is back, and today we are talking about old guy guessing. You could call it old man tinkering. We're going to talk about Mosher Media's social media efforts behind the scenes.
Mosher Media Podcast.
Welcome back to the Mosher Media podcast. We are so glad to be back. We've taken a little hiatus, but thanks to SoundCloud and YouTube, all of the Mosher Media podcasts that we've already done are still there. Of course, they live on in infamy, perhaps. We've had a lot of fun putting together these podcasts, and I have a range of topics, and it's one of those deals where it's my podcast, so I get to talk about whatever it is I want to talk about. But hopefully, I've been able to provide some insight into the media business, provide something that is useful if you're interested in using video or media to grow your business. Hopefully, some of the things that I've said, some tips that I've provided, are maybe things that you can do yourself. There's a lot of things in media that a business owner who's also doubling as the marketing person can do with media, social media, podcasting, all of it to grow the business. And ultimately, that's what all of this is about. It is about putting food on the table. It is about finding new customers. It is about letting people see who you are, what your products and services are, and using all of the incredible tools that we now have available to us, which for those of us who have been in business and in media for decades, the tools we have now are incredible, mind-blowing. I could not have imagined in the early 90s when I was starting out in video production, all of the things that we are able to do now. It is absolutely incredible. And as you could probably tell, if you listen to any of my podcasts, I love this business. I love all of these tools. I love how the media business has evolved over the years. I'm still in it after all of these years and still feeling fortunate, blessed that I have been able to stay in the work that I love, the industry that I love here in video production. What I want to talk about today is the use of blogs to grow your business and video blogs. And there are some tricks and some tips I could probably provide. And one of them is that the moment you post a video like this to YouTube, you have, within a couple of minutes, available to you a transcription. And if you are not a good writer, but you're like me, you enjoy having a couple of talking points and sharing thoughts, you're writing a blog. And if you upload your blog to YouTube, you've written all your talking points, you got them here like I do, you know what you want to say, you know all of the ideas, you've got them in your head. YouTube will give you a transcription. And if you could provide that transcription to a writer, or if you want to take the time yourself to transcribe, rewrite that transcription, take all of those words and put them into a blog. This is a fast and easy way to have a written blog on your website that is authentic. It's your content. It's you speaking from the heart. It's you sharing what you know. And if you're doing it like I do, the goal is to have some thought that's come to me or something that I've tinkered with in our business that has been successful, that has worked. And here I am in a point in my career, I want to share what I've learned. And of course, a lot of these podcasts, I've shared a number of mistakes and failures, and we celebrate those as the only way to move anything forward. And to learn is to fail and accept failure, embrace failure, and all of that. But the idea behind these podcasts is that our audience comes away with some idea, some learning. Let's talk for a second about what you do with the text once you have it. Once you put your blog on your website, once you've done a blog and it's up, the text and the pictures, maybe even a link to the video. If you've done a video podcast or an audio podcast on the same topic, and that's where all the content for that blog came from, it would make sense to somewhere on your website, create a page, some page that's easy to get to, or create a blog. If you're using WordPress, then you make it as a post. So it's in the blog section, let's say. And then what you do, of course, is you take all of your text that comes from the transcription of this amount of talking, and you write it, post it to your web page as a blog, put up an image, something to go along with it, something to make it interesting. And if you're doing this yourself, this is great. But of course, if you have a web developer, there's nothing wrong with sending an email. It says, here's my text, here's my picture, here is a link to the video on YouTube. I will tell you, if you really want to do this in a more advanced sort of way, in my experience, it is better to post the video to Vimeo or a more professional video hosting service. We were using Google Cloud at one point, but Vimeo is really the way to go, and I'll tell you why. With Vimeo, you can pay an extra fee if you are so inclined to do this, and you can turn off the Vimeo branding on the player. So that if you have a pro account and you have all of your videos hosted on Vimeo, then you put the Vimeo link on your web page, then it takes away the ability of the person looking at that particular blog, the ability of that viewer to click on the Vimeo link and then go to your Vimeo channel. There's nothing wrong with somebody looking at your Vimeo channel, but you want to keep all of your viewers, your traffic, your audience on your website. You want to keep them focused on your blog. Along those lines, what I have learned, and again, this is old guy guessing and old man tinkering. So if anybody is out there that works in social media professionally, which of course I do not, wants to call me out and say, this is something we've known for years, this is hardly new information, go ahead and call me out. I love a good roast. But I like to create my blog, put it on the website, post a link to it on my LinkedIn, on Facebook, all of the places on social media that I like to post content, so that the person isn't seeing my content on Facebook. They're seeing a little section of it, a headline, a teaser. And if they really want to see what I've written, they click through to moshermedia.com. And what I've noticed lately is that everybody is putting their link in the comments section. And so this is the trend. And it's one of those, well, a lot of this is learning by watching what everyone else is doing. And I thought, well, why is all the local TV stations, when they're doing a news story, they put the headline as a graphic? You know, Cleveland Browns are doing this, and there's the headline, and it's in the news post, but then it says see link in comments, see story below. And you can do this for your social media. So LinkedIn is different. LinkedIn is safe, I think. I haven't seen anyone on LinkedIn posting link in comments, but on Facebook, I've noticed they're doing this. So I just started doing this. This is the kind of thing where if everybody else is doing it, we should probably be doing it too, which isn't a good idea in other parts of your life. But on social media, if other people are doing it and you're noticing, look around at who you admire. Maybe you have competitors you admire, maybe people in other industries that are doing social media things, and you say, wow, they're doing a good job. What if you emulate what they're doing and then test and see if that creates some success for you? And what is success in all of this? Success is when somebody Google searches video, and they type in video production Akron, Ohio. I want Mosher Media to come up at the top. And right now, at the time of this podcast, if you type in video production company Akron, we rank 1 or 2 or 3. And I think it's because of all of this work I've been doing. I will tell you again, I'm not an expert. I always think I'm just lucky. I've just done enough tinkering. I think Google rewards some effort. They're like, this guy is making some effort. You don't have to have a lot of traffic. You just have to have one more click, one more viewer than your next closest competitor. So if the guy down the street's got, 3 people looking at his website, good for him. All you need is 5 and you win. And in a niche business like ours, we don't have tens of thousands of people looking at our websites. All you need to do is just have a couple more than the competitor. I will say also that if you have on your company Facebook page and you're a small business serving a region or a market, or you're serving your hometown, and you have 2,000 followers on your LinkedIn page, you are doing great. If you have a YouTube channel like we do, well, I think we have 1,500 subscribers on our YouTube channel. And I appreciate every single one of them. And I would like to be doing even more content that is hopefully beneficial for all of our followers and subscribers. But the reality is, there's this idea that you have to have 1 million followers or 1 million subscribers to be successful. There's one incredibly talented young professional in our operation, and he dabbles professionally I shouldn't even use the term dabble. He produces music videos and had a chance to work for somebody who had 10 million followers. And he comes in the office and says, this weekend, I'm shooting a music video for this artist that has 10 million followers. Well, and I'm thinking, wow, I only have 1,500. I'm just a nobody. Oh, but the reality is, if you own a small business and you have 1,500, then create content for that audience. And that's an opt-in mailing list. These are people that took the time to follow and subscribe. They want to hear from you. This is an opt-in mailing list. 1,000 followers on your company Facebook page is a win. And here's what I'm going to suggest. I'm going to suggest that no matter what level you produce video, even if you put up a webcam, and I see a lot of people in video production that are not making an effort with a mic or lights or whatever. They're using the webcams to do their video content. And sometimes, I don't judge, I love it. But sometimes I wonder if you're in video production, should you make the extra effort to at least use the professional cameras that you already own? And you have a studio, you have your lights, you have your good mics. You should be doing this. But even if you built a home studio and you did put up a webcam, in my opinion, one of the most important things is the sound quality, especially if you're doing it the style I'm doing here, where a good majority of the listeners will only be listening. They will listen on SoundCloud or on other audio-only platforms. They won't see this YouTube presentation. So audio, very, very important. So I think, and well, on the topic of audio, I can't leave out my personal dilemma I have in that we produce a lot of television programs. As many of you may know, if you know me, I love local television. I love the TV station we're building for our hometown here, Akron, Ohio. And that's a whole nother discussion for another day, but that is a passion project. And a lot of those video interviews are at a news desk, a talk show set similar to this. I prefer lav mics. But in a lot of scenarios, these voiceover mics, or as we would call radio mics, let's say, or even you could call them podcast mics, these have better sound quality. So I've decided that since the majority of my audience will be taking in this content in an audio-only format, that I'm going to ditch the lav and I'm going to go with a voiceover style mic that I have here. So if you go over to the local Best Buy or what have you, go online, B&H Photo in New York or one of those kind of places, you can buy a podcast mic for $100 that will sound 1,000 times better than the audio, the tiny little mic that's built into your webcam. And if you were only going to do one thing in your attempt to do it yourself, media, video, home podcast studio, audio is the place to spend money. So again, to wrap up, what I like to do on these is provide something useful. So what we've talked about today is the idea of a video blog. How can this grow your business? How can this improve your SEO? And again, Google rewards effort. And the final thing I'll leave you with on the idea of putting your video on YouTube is if your YouTube channel, again, I'm not an SEO expert. I'm not a digital marketing person. I am a video production media person. That's my gig. But I'm sharing what I've observed. And that is if you build your YouTube channel with some content and you have it properly connected through all of the Google systems, the AdWords and Google Places, there's somewhere in Google Business or Google Places, whatever it's called this week, they have a place where you can show Google what your YouTube channel is for your business. And the traffic on your YouTube channel that is set up for your business, branded for your business, can improve your SEO if it's linked properly. Google gives you credit for your YouTube traffic, or obviously if you get a lot of people looking at YouTube videos and there's links to your website in the post, this also helps tremendously. So we've talked about a lot of things. Many of the things I've talked about are things you can do yourself. And no matter whether you do it yourself or hire a freelancer or a full-blown video production company, you've got to use video to grow your business, to put food on the table, and that's what it's all about. Thanks for listening, and thanks for watching. If you're here on YouTube, and we'll see you on the next one.
Mosher Media Podcast.